Hall Estate, Kanji, in East Berbice, smoke billowing from one of two chimneys. A joyful sight for the residents of the community of East Kanji, a once thriving, vibrant community, decimated by APNO AFC's sudden closure of the Rose Hall Estate in three others, Wales, Enmore and Skeldon, placing 7,000 employees, many of them sole breadwinners for their families, out of their jobs. Entire communities were plunged into poverty, resulting in parents being unable to send their children to school. Families were split apart, and the husbands had to go seek employment away from their respective communities. There were many divorces and several suicides. The impact of the closure of the estates was devastating. In its campaign leading up to the 2020 general elections, the PPPC vowed that it would reopen the closed Rose Hall estate among a rash of measures to return sugar to viability. In Berbice, the once bustling East Kanji community was reduced to a ghost town. However, since work began on rebuilding the factory and returned the estate to operation, and the rehiring of severed sugar workers, the Kanji community slowly began to come alive. Fast forward to July 2023, the estate has run several successful steam trials, ensuring that the work done in replacing and rehabilitating major components and machinery is up to standard. I spoke with the factory manager, Mr. Vikram C. Prasad, who has overseen the rehabilitation of the Rose Hall factory, a feat he said seemed impossible at the beginning.
When we started November 2020 and looking through the factory, everything was badly deteriorated. So we had to do an estimate as to what was required at a point in time in terms of materials and people. We started with 5 persons and gradually we built up a team. The big job that we handled in the factory was the cane gantry. We had to do the entire cane gantry structure and maintenance. All the carriers were in very poor state. The turbines also were in a very bad state. We tested the boilers when we came in, and we found that all the boilers were leaking. The number 2 chimney, you could actually see through that chimney, it was so thin. From then to now, the job that we did, we rehabilitated the cane gantry with the help of contractors, the auxiliary main cane carrier, and the bagage distribution carrier. We did total work on them in terms of structure and changing the chains, slots and paddles. The number 1 turbine, the force knife turbine, was in a very bad state. It could not have been repaired, so the decision was made to bring a turbine from Enmore factory, which we brought and installed. The mill train, the entire mill was dismantled, the number 1 to 4 mill and the crusher. We dismantled the mill and built it back from scratch. For the boiler department, we retrieved the number 6 boiler totally. All the refractory work were badly deteriorated. We did back all the refractory work from the number 1 to 6 boiler. Presently, we are doing the number 6, the number 1 boiler retubing, both the superheater and generating tube, and the number 2 boiler generating tube.
Another critical component that was rehabilitated was the powerhouse, which is now fully functional once again. This was the turbine slated for steam trials on the day of my visit, just under a week ago. Engineers could be seen fine-tuning stuff, and then the successful trial. Nothing much to see except the look of joyful satisfaction on the faces of the engineers around. In the process house, the clarifier is critical to the quality of juice extracted from the cane. This was also replaced.
We also look at the 2.5 megawatt turbine in the powerhouse, which is our main steam generator set. This was so badly deteriorated, and because of the extent of the work, we had to engage the company that manufactured these turbines. An engineer came from this company, and we managed to repair this turbine, and we had a successful steam trial using this turbine.
With the majority of the work completed on the rehabilitation of the Rose Hall Estate factory, Mr. C. Prasad said that what is important now are the trials of all the moving components of the factory.
For the process house, all the pans, evaporators, juice heaters were in very bad state. We have managed to repair all of these equipment. The number 4A, 4B, and the number 2 juice heater. We had to do a total retubing. We replaced the number 4 pan with a pan that was in very good condition, which we brought from Skeldon factory. The number 4 juice heater also was replaced, and we bought a juice heater from Moa factory to do this job. The clarifier, we had to do a total rehabilitation in terms of the body. We changed the entire body and the inside this clarifier, the clay juice tank and so on. All the crystallizers, we have 10 low grade crystallizer and 5 high grade crystallizer. We managed to replace 3 high grade and 3 low grade crystallizer. The others we did some major work, and we expect to close off this work in another week's time. We have already started running up these equipment. The high grade basket, we have 3 high grade. We have done total repair works on these, and we already run up the number 1 and number 2. In terms of the low grade basket, we also have 3 there. We have completed repairs work and we ran up all 3 of the basket. So the number 2 chimney was in a very bad state. We managed to, with the help of contractor, replace this entire chimney. Preparatory work was done for this chimney at Central Workshop in terms of preparing the tubes. This was brought to Rosal, and the contractor dismantled the chimney and they replaced it with the new segments that we fabricated at Central Workshop. Over the course of time also, starting from the last May, we started a number of trials at this factory in terms of pumps, turbines, and other equipment, the fans, evaporators, and so on. And we had a preliminary steam trial which included all the equipment which was done the 21st of June, where we run up the pre-milling and mill turbines, and we did the overspeed trip. The overspeed trip is a safety mechanism to ensure that even if these turbines run past their required running speed, it will trip so there will not be any damage to equipment or injury to people around. Also, in terms of boiler section, we have 3 boilers fully completed, and we use this to power up the plant. The number 4, 5, and 6 boiler. The number 3 boiler is actually near to completion. We already hydraulic tested that boiler, and we expect to put it in operation shortly. The number 1 and 2 boiler, as mentioned earlier, we expect to complete those boilers by this month.
In terms of staffing, the factory manager said that with just 5 persons at the start of the rehabilitation process, the estate now has 270 workers in the factory, with the full complement of 279 to be met shortly.
When we look at the people in this factory, when we started this factory, as I mentioned, we started with 5 persons, but the skill set was not there. Over time, we managed to employ people who had little or no engineering expertise or knowledge. And we ran some training, both theoretical and practical training at the estate. And this would include trade areas like fitting, machining, welding, sugar boilers, electrical. And these are the same people. With the training, they are the people who managed to fit this factory and get it to the state that we are presently in. Just recently, on 26th of June, we did our major steam trial where we run up all the turbines, turn the mills, run up all the carriers. We also did our vacuum test in the pans and evaporators. And we have also run this power turbine and power the plant with that equipment. And that steam trial was deemed successful at that point. We still have a lot of work to go at this point of time. And to get the people prepared to start the operation, we're still running training.
Mr. Lekram Yashwardio is the electrical engineer manager at the Rose Hall Estate and has been in charge of the daunting task of getting all the electrical panels and wiring restored to functionality, a task that is now mostly complete. Lekram started off at the Rose Hall Estate as an apprentice and rose through the ranks, and at the time of the closure of the estate was an electrical engineer. He was one of the lucky ones who, instead of being laid off, was transferred to the Blairmont Estate, where he stayed before being transferred back to the Rose Hall Estate and charged with overseeing the restoration of the factory. I asked him to reflect on the experience of not only witnessing the restoration of the factory, but being a key player in the process.
Well, I feel elated. excited for this, see this factory go back in stream. And the community where I live in Greenfield, everybody feels proud of what's going on at Rosal Estate.
What was the work like for you?
Well, the work, when I first came here and I walked through the factory, I said this is like an impossible task because it was sheer bush, deteriorated structure, equipment, everything just stuff and just left down. So when I walked through the rest of the engineers, we decided to start make a plan how we're going to start this work. And we looked section by section, the pre-milling, the mill, the boilers, the process house, the powerhouse, and we start to make assessment and do order for spares. It takes some time, we get spares and we start to build. And that's the stage where we're now testing it within the testing process. And I'm so excited that come September that we see sugar. Once again produce the sugar.
Well, this sense of accomplishment and elation was also expressed by the factory manager, Mr. Vikram C. Prasad, who was also at the estate up until its closure.
Let me tell you, first of all, I started off as an apprentice in 1986 at this very estate. And I belong to this community, Kanji. I worked from an apprentice up to an engineering manager. At the point of closure in 2017, I was sent off. At that period, I worked at the Skeleton Energy Inc. until the decision was made to reopen this factory when I was recalled. For me, to get this factory in the state is a big achievement, but it's not me alone. It's a team that we have here. Everybody put their best into it. But personally for me, I'm a community man, I belong to this community. To get this factory going, I feel pride in doing this. I think by doing this, we have put back something into the community that was taken out.
Mm-hmm. How much of an impact do you think it will make on the lives of the people in this community?
As we can see at this point in time, it is a very big impact. You know, before we start to reopen this factory, this place was actually dead. But now you can see more movement, more business. In fact, if you walk along this road now, the amount of business open now, especially Chinese, and the number of people you see at these places in the evening, tell it all story.
Rehabilitation of the Rose Hall factory is in its final phase. But not only the factory has been rehabilitated, the main administration building has also been renovated and is now being painted and fitted with wiring and other necessary infrastructure, after which the various offices will be furnished, all in time for start of operations in October. Agriculture Minister Zulfikar Mustafa says the imminent reopening of the Rose Hall estate is a major accomplishment for the government of Guyana and represents another manifesto promise kept by the People's Progressive Party Civic.
So we have had the first team trial because you know that we made commitment in our campaign when we were going to the election that we will reopen the closed estate. And in my speeches after that, I would have said that we will do it in phases. So Rose Hall will be the first estate to be reopened. I'm hoping that by the second crop of this year, in a few weeks' time, Rose Hall will start operation. We have seen this successful steam trial at Rose Hall. Approximately 10 tons of cane were crushed, and it was very successful. Later on this month, by the end of this month, early first week in August, we'll do a recommissioning. We're hoping that His Excellency, the President, will be there himself. So that is one of the commitment, the promises that we have made to the people of our country. That is one of the promises that we are fulfilling. I know for a fact that area suffered tremendously when the estate was closed, and many persons would have had to leave the area and go to find employment in other areas. Today we have seen more than 1,200 persons have been re-employed at Rose Hall Estate, and we are seeing back families are coming together. The displacement that were created with the closure of that estate, we are seeing now that people are united once again. We are seeing an upsurge of economic activities at the village level in those areas. We are seeing a number of people who were dependent on the estate prior to its closure are now once again in pursuing economic activities based on earnings coming out from that estate. So that showed the PPP Civic government's commitment to its promises and to the people of our country. And this is only one of the promises that we have delivered on. We have seen hundreds of promises that we have delivered. And this is the first time, less than 3 years, we are in government, almost the entire manifesto promises have been, or almost 90% of the promises that we have had in the manifesto have been delivered to the people of our country.
The Agriculture Minister also pointed to the increasing production and productivity of the existing estates, positing that it is as a result of government's ongoing investment in the sector.
Since we have reassumed government in August of 2020, we have expended close to about $20 billion to do works in the various estates, replanting, retooling, and that's the point, because we have to have proper cane, we have to have good yield, and we are seeing it now. The first crop of 2023, we have seen GUYSUCO'S reach their target. I am hoping at the end of this year, the target that was set of 60,000 tons, we are hoping that they could reach it, and hopefully by next year, by the end of next year, we can surpass the 100,000 tons. So this is the recapitalization I have been speaking about, and the funds that we have been putting in GUYSUCO, and at the same time we are mechanizing and also improving the entire operations of GUYSUCO, and at the same time we are seeing more canes being cultivated and higher, better yield are being achieved now in these estates. That is as a result we are getting good production level. I'm hoping that we can increase and improve production and productivity in the next crop.
Since the 2021 floods, it is anticipated that for the start of operations come October this year, some 3,000 acres of cane will be available for harvesting at the rehabilitated Rose Hall Estate fields, many of which have been re-engineered in part to allow for mechanical harvesting.